wageni watatu Mheshimiwa Sebastian Kapufi mbunge, ambao ni wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani. Wadau wa maendeleo kutoka Marekani, karibuni sana.
And we're live. Hey, good morning, family. Happy Friday.
Shalom. How you doing? How you doing, Brother Walt?
Hey, Mike. How's it going? Just sure.
Oh, can't complain.
Hey, wonderful. What is the good word? We need a good word. It's Friday. What's the good word?
Yeah, that's it. It's Friday. that is the good word.
Friday is the good word.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
it is.
I'll take it. Hey, just a good morning to the chat, to the family. Welcome back to episode 2 of Q2UA Family Friday. And we welcome you, and we're so blessed and thankful for each and every one of you. Q2UA is your community place. This channel is your channel, and Q2UA is here to serve the diaspora and our brothers and sisters on the continent. So we welcome you. Thank you for joining us this morning. Y'all want to do a little catching up because y'all sounded sleepy. We're about to pass some coffee over there to brother Walt. But Brother Mike, you've been up. What time is it in Tanzania?
It's 2:33.
Oh, so you've been out and about. You get ready for Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah, you can wind down.
Matter of fact, I was in there cooking. And waiting on some stuff to get back and finish cooking and start cleaning up, sweep outside and all that good old stuff. Water some plants, and making phone calls to pick up rice, beans, and flour. Large quantities, and I'm trying to get it together where go ahead and start breaking it up, into packages, and get things moving. I got some shareholders I got to start answering to, so I got to move. Can't sit right here and lollygag.
And
lollygagging.
No, it does not make no sense whatsoever.
Now, Brother Michael, you said something yesterday that really, it still kind of blew me away. And I'd love for you to share with the family. You were talking about how much in fruits and vegetables you were able to get recently and the cost of it. Would you mind describing that to the family?
Yeah, we had I had a smaller bag, but it ripped. So these guys, the brothers, they walk around, they sell bags, and he had like a 15-gallon bag. And so I was like, all righty. I like tomatoes, and things, and so I bought some tomatoes, not just tomatoes. I bought 15 pounds of vegetables. There's carrots, onions, green peppers, some peppers, tomatoes, avocados. What else? I think that was it. We paid $5 for all of that stuff.
Oh
What?
$5.
Shoot,
You
it
know,
would have been
you
$5 for the tomatoes here.
Exactly.
For like 3 tomatoes, $5.99, please.
yeah.
Exactly. Wow.
And so I mean, I'm like, man, I mean, I'm just wondering how much it costs once I get to the farmer. You know,
That's
I may be getting it a whole lot cheaper, but I mean, when they see me
I
pull
guess
up, I get out the car. They and the ones I usually go to, they come running.
because they know you finna buy some.
They know I'm about to fill that bag up.
Mm,
And the other guy was like,
yep.
my brother, let me help you. Like it's 2 straps on it, and the thing be heavy. You know, and one
Mhm.
time I like, yeah, this brother, yeah, you grab on that side, I grab this side. You know, walks into the car, put it in the front seat, had to put a seatbelt around it because, you know, like I said, it was a pretty big bag. You know,
wow.
and so, you know, we went on and continued to shop and bought some grapes, and they had seeds in them.
Man, them the best kind of grapes right there. When I was
Man,
growing
yes.
up, I used to never, I used to look for seedless grapes because, I guess I was just lazy. And then, now that I'm older, I look for seeded grapes and I can't even find
hmm
them.
No, you ain't
I
gonna
can't
find
even
that.
find them.
Not in the. You're not gonna find it too much in the United States, because they're taking these people. What they did, they started this some years ago when they started collecting seeds. So they call themselves engineering the seed.
Mm-hmm.
So when they re-engineered it, they took ownership of that patent. All they had to do
Exactly.
is start planting it. Once they start planting it, and the original seed is now I ain't gonna say done away with, but it's not being planted. And they may have the original seed, but they own that seed, the one they have a patent on,
Yep.
and that's how they're doing it in order for them. Like with pineapples, did you know that pineapples they're doing something to the the little leaf that be at the top of it?
Mm-hmm.
They doing something to it because you do know if you take that top off, you twist it off, you stick
Yeah.
it in some water, it'll grow roots.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
They used to anyway.
It used to. They making it where they do not do it.
That's crazy.
I'm saying it's all
Yeah.
about control. This is
Yeah.
it's literally about control. They know everybody on this planet Earth must eat.
Eat. And food should be free.
And like
Fruits and vegetables and plants, because all you gotta do is just stick it in the ground
and that's
and
it.
it'll come back.
And
That's it.
to your point, when you look at biblical law, everyone in Yasharal was permitted, if they were hungry, to walk onto their neighbor's land and take and freely eat. The only prohibition on the law, you can't take a cut to go plate. You can't you can't come fill up a bag full of fruit off of your neighbor's tree. But
Yeah.
this was the economy of our kingdom where no
hmm
one suffered hunger because you were permitted to go to your brother's land if you didn't have fruit or vegetables and to take and freely eat.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about a tree, and I share this all the time. I grew up in Miami. My grandma had a mango tree. And one tree in season, when it yields fruit, it yields so much fruit. It's too much for one
Yeah.
house. My
One
grandma
house
hmm
can't eat it all.
bags and bags and bags of mangoes. It was like the kids jumping over the fence to get mangoes. You had to let them because you can't eat all of that. A tree is
Yep.
designed for a community.
Yep.
hmm the sister, she what was it, last week she came by. She didn't have no food to eat. But when she come by and she sit down and she talk with Hydia and thing, but she noticed the tree. I mean, the plant was back there. But she came back a couple of days later, since she had no food. She asked because she picked the leaves, the spinach off the tree. She went back there and picked every last one of them off. And I went back there and I rewatered it, and now I'm going to put some fertilizer, and then I didn't know nothing about the tree. And then Hydia showed me, said, "You want to see the seeds? You know, the ones sticking at the top, she just ripped them off and everything, rubbed her hands together, and man, it looked like black pepper. That's what the seeds look like. Yes, it looked like black pepper. And I grabbed those seeds, man, and went to a spot where I knew that I had old fruits and vegetables, but I had dirt laying on top of it. Man, I spread those seeds all over there. It don't make sense lollygag. You might go and get it started.
Hey, might as well.
You know what I'm saying? And then the brother, this brother, he come back, and he know I don't speak English, and he just pointed to the back. I knew what he was going back there to get. He's going to. I said, man, how in the world he go get up that tree? And he came back because he drink a lot of alcohol. He be drunk one time. He be drunk when he come out here. And I think he seen reality. He turned around and left. But he was going up there to get the papayas and things. Oh. And I was just because I was looking into a bread machine. And I'm gonna tell you something about that bread when you buy it at the store. Man, that stuff's so sweet. I mean, you might well buy a cake. And I'm like, why they have so much sugar in the bread?
To keep the people coming to get it.
But check this out though. I'm like, you do know you can take one of those papayas off the tree, crush it up, and make bread out of it with its own natural sweeteners. You don't have to add no sugar to it.
You know everything, Mike. I would have never thought about that.
Man, yes. I used to make the banana bread, but the banana bread was different. That was, but you still can take that same concept of a banana, crush it up and things of that nature, and mix it in with your dough and everything else that you're going to put in, and it's going to have its own natural sweeteners. And that's the biggest thing I'll be looking at, because diabetes is running. Man, diabetes over here, man. I mean, it's running rampant.
That's crazy. They getting the people with the sugar. That stuff
they get with the sugar
and the rice and the rices. All the starch food. And it's just that's crazy though.
But I mean, they have a lot. I mean, there's a lot. These people, I know for a fact, they should not be hungry.
No, they shouldn't be hungry.
They shouldn't be. No, I mean, man, I can step out.
Because from what we've seen, all that, I can say free land, but all that open land and everything grows there. The weather is perfect for growing all year round. So the fish come up to you and jump in your bucket.
And that's the beauty of it, man. I mean,
they'll come right to you.
Wow. Well, Brother Mike, it was real decent.
I mean, everything is right here. I mean, matter of fact,
it was real decent of you to let the Tanzanian net.
I'm sorry, go ahead, sis.
It was real decent of you to let the Tanzanian net, the wino, come through and try to get.
You know what? You had you gotta let these brothers in, because it reminds you of where you came from. We had winos out there while I lived there too. So I mean, they hear just as much.
The thing is, like I say, you build relationships with people like that. We should love everybody, and if we have more than enough, what's wrong with sharing?
Exactly.
I'm looking at bananas right now hanging from a tree.
Say what?
If you even think about it, right? If you think about how a lot of us grew up, it wasn't uncommon for your parent to tell you go next door and do what?
Exactly.
Ask to borrow
sugar. Yep.
Sugar, whatever.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Hey, Sister Char. This sister walked up and she had a cup. I knew she was borrowing something, and it was some sugar.
Hey, let me get some of that right there.
I mean, all she did really, she took me back to when I was a child, and I'm like, man, my mom used to let me go to Miss Bernice's house and get a couple of sugar.
Yeah, you borrow sugar, you borrow Kool-Aid, you borrow
Yeah.
eggs.
Whatever,
It didn't matter.
whatever they had, whatever you need, hey, run over there and get such and such from such and such. All right.
Hmm.
Now, isn't that crazy how we in our neighborhoods, we were the storehouse for each other, and then
Yep.
eventually we started having our people who saw the opportunity setting up storehouse. I know we had, in South Florida, we had the storehouse lady, right? But
Yeah.
then it's like our storehouses kind of disappeared, and in their place, we ended up with these corner stores owned by
Hmm.
foreigners.
Yeah.
Yes, they knew what they was doing.
Exactly.
And
They knew exactly what they was doing.
that's like when we stop relying on each other and you just run to the store.
Hmm.
Because it was well, we thought it was convenient. We didn't see that we was destroying our neighborhood, and I guess because they maybe had more, or the store was maybe nicer. Because my grandmother had a community store, and it did really good
Mm,
until, I guess, because it was a smaller neighborhood, a lot of older people. But when the people started getting more cars, they started going, to the city. And I was like, but
mm,
why? Everything meant. Now, I didn't eat pig feet, but she had pig feet, pickles,
Oh,
all
I
your
hated that stuff.
candy. She had canned I mean, it was literally a grocery store for the neighborhood. But as time, went on, it slowed down, and then when she passed away, you know, they didn't really keep it up, and people just stopped coming.
That was the generation we needed that passed away was our grandmothers. They're the
mm,
Yep.
ones who was doing the canning and things of
Man.
that nature. And I mean, man, it's like we got shot in the foot when the
Mm.
grandmothers of that particular time start falling asleep in death. And I
Yeah.
mean, because right now, I mean, whew, man,
Mm. People don't know how to can for real. When
no,
you talk about canning, they want to go to the store. I'm gonna run to the store real quick and get these cans.
it's true. But that doesn't mean that we can't find our way back, right? The scriptures tell us to search for the ancient paths. There's still breadcrumbs. We just have to have an intentionality to go and find it and not discard those ways. A lot of what happened to us, especially post, what they call it after the integration,
Oh,
we
yeah, that,
begin to we begin to value every other culture above our own. We begin to look at our old heads as though they were ignorant because they
yeah,
didn't have the level of education that we esteemed or that we were striving for, not realizing we were sitting on a field of diamonds with our old heads,
exactly,
the knowledge that
exactly.
they had. But we can find our way back. And a lot of us, have been trying to search out those breadcrumbs. But thinking about how we had the industry even in Go Next Door and borrow.
Yeah,
That's
you
Hebrew.
know what, sister?
Uh-huh.
I think I think that it's going to take this tribulation for us to we got it would. I'm just thinking it would seem that we need to go hungry a little bit, and for us to appreciate what we need to do in preparation so that we do not go hungry again. If we got a can,
yeah,
we will learn to can, and that's the fastest way to learn is when you're hungry.
yep. When you hungry, and you don't have no coins in your pocket.
Exactly. And and I think that's what we're going back to. I really believe that we're going back to a measure of what they call the old scriptures or the ways our grandparents was doing things, because right now don't nobody want to go into the field. They feel that is hard work.
Yeah,
Truthfully, it is,
it
with the
is hard work.
without the correct or tools that you really need. Now, if you had
Yeah,
the tools and everything, I think it won't be as hard
yeah,
for the brothers and sisters that practice farming.
Yeah.
Or if you have enough people,
Yeah.
you know, if you got enough people and a few tools, you know, you can make it. You know, because my grandfather, he didn't have no machines. He had a mule and a plow and some sons. Y'all,
Hmm.
and he had acres of corn and um, greens and all types of, yeah, he had all that. He had one mule, one plow, and about three or four sons at the house, and some chickens and everything.
And that's how
I
you
mean,
get.
that's the beauty.
And you know, and that was, you know, during that time of in between that integration and stuff. And but once we went through that integration, it just, you know, it kind of, you know, it messed us up, and we didn't see the value of being being
Separated.
at, yeah, exactly,
Mm-hmm.
Which is really us not seeing the value in ourselves,
yeah,
Right.
us not esteeming one another. Like when we were taught that to be a Negro was to be the least.
yeah,
So we look
not,
outside of ourselves for value when we are the gold.
yeah.
So, brother,
Mm.
how would you feel about teaming up on brother Mike to do a Swahili challenge? Like, why is our brother over there and don't know no Swahili?
No Swahili, nothing.
Mm-mm.
It's like how do you do it, Mike? No habare,
Uh,
you know,
You
sign
know what
language.
nothing.
the Swahili word of the week, one word that you could bring back and share with the family once a week. Okay,
That
here's the Swahili word of
Let
the
me let me let me let me say this. When I do a Swahili word, they just start laughing.
week.
I said, well, I'm gonna just stick with English, and we can just call it like that. Pull out a phone or something and just go to Google Translate. And we'll just work it out that way.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, I can
Yeah.
definitely relate to that feeling because I am the Yankee of the family on my dad's side that speak Jamaican patois, and the reason why I do not speak Jamaican patois is because I'm too much of a Southerner in my dialect, and they would
Mm,
laugh at me because I have twang in my patois. I sound like an American trying to speak like a Jamaican, so I don't fool with.
wow.
So when you say that they laugh at you, I understand completely where you're coming from because my cousins used to do me like that.
Really?
Yeah.
So, brother Michael, what region of
Mhm.
the United States would you consider yourself as like where your experience in the United States has been? Because today, for our family feud, we're going to kind of share some experiences between the North and the South. But where do you kind of like identify yourself in terms of region that you mostly experience
I
the
would
diaspora?
I would say, you're talking in the States, right?
Uh-huh.
Chicago. I learned the difference between a West Side Negro and a South Side Negro.
What's
I
that?
did. Yes. Yes,
What's
it
West
is a
that?
difference.
Side.
The West Side is the brothers over there. They live just for that day. And everybody over there that has a business, the majority of them are not black. They are majority of them are foreigners, Chinese, Indian, Arab. Period. All on the West Side. South Side, back in the days, nothing but black businessmen. I
Really?
mean, man. And so they were more so and I'm talking about the neighborhood that you may consider rough, they were still about their business. And that's
Mm,
why I love the South Side, but I lived on the West Side. And so I learned that I mean I had both sides, South and the West Side. But when I went to go make money, it was on the South Side. It was on the South Side.
Oh, wow. Now,
Yes.
with so we want to kind of like we want to share notes today with the family because Well, the reason for the Family Feud here, y'all, at Q2UA is that there's more that we have in common than the things that make us different or divide us. How our oppression has worked, the systematic way that we have been separated from one another is through division. We were divided
Yeah.
through
Hmm.
colorism. We were divided through different statuses. We were divided man versus woman, woman versus man. We were divided. We were divided based on the texture of our hair.
Yep. We're tall
Every
or short, light or dark.
every imaginable distinction that could be thought of was used to make us see each other as not the same. And so, Brother Walt, you're from the South, right? You grew up in the
I
South.
am, and
Uh,
I
can
I
you
spent
share
most of my life here.
what has been your experience or your perspective being a Negro from the South with respect to people outside of our community?
Well, really, most of my life, and and I try to tell my son this, I am not racist, but I am pro Negro. And so I have really, most of my life, I have always leaned toward hanging out with my people. The only time I really interacted was with other people was in the workplace, but we really didn't, we weren't ever really friends, because I just never really had a desire to hang out with them. Even in school, we were together, but we were separate.
Were there
So,
any what about any experiences, good or bad?
well,
Can you
I had a
recall?
couple of them try to fight me, when I was in high school, but that didn't end well for them. But other than that, I didn't really, and I think more so, like say in business, when I've went to, I guess I could kind of see a subtle racism when, I would talk to them about, doing some work or whatever, they would kind of shun me away. No, we're not interested. We're not interested. You know, not giving, just kind of looking down on me or
Well, that may
whatever. So.
those that may be those kids you beat up when you was younger. Now they recognize you. Well, that Negro that
I,
slapped me in the eye and swore my eye.
hey man, I was a peaceful kid until you pushed me. I didn't like fighting. I just fought. But and then I just have always kind of catered toward dealing with my people
Where
and
were
whatever.
Mm.
you in relationship to the integration of schools?
Once again, all of my schools, all the people looked like me, except for the teachers. And when I went to middle school, there was a little integration, but we never interacted. We just kind of just stayed separate, you know. And I never had a problem, except for the ones that want to push me, or try to prove themselves or whatever. But I just
What about you, Brother Mike? Were you affected by integration at all?
The only time I got affected by integration is when they caught me and my brother selling candy to the white kids in school. They brought us in that and their principal office so quick, and they called my mother. Me and my brother sitting up there, our stepfather give us like 25 cents. So 25 cents. Oh well, we know what we needed to do. So we went
go
about
flip it.
25 pieces of penny candies. They cost a
Yep,
penny for the candy. And I had
yep,
25. Well, the next day we'd take it to school. We would double it. Or we not no, we were selling it for like 5 cents for one piece of candy.
selling for a new. Yep.
The white kid was buying it up.
Hey man,
Yes.
hey,
Until
everybody had
we
a
end up with a
candy
couple of
hustle.
dollars in our pocket by the end of the week. My mom was like, "Where y'all get all this money from?"
hey, we're we businessmen. That's what we are. We businessmen.
That's right. That's right. I love it.
But but in school, I mean, the only time it got racial in school, and that was like I would say from the fifth on up to high school. And that was like for any fifth grader up to high school. It's when they had that yearly thing for roots, and they show they showed a series of roots.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like we all went to school fighting the next day.
Oh my goodness!
And the white kids in the office with swollen eyes, the black, I mean, bloody nose and things of that nature. They were like, "What's going on?" And the parents be up there talking about he hit my son and so and so. But I mean, when they showed roots, that's when
they knew
we went back fighting them. Yeah, they knew what they were doing. We were going, but I mean, this is what they showing roots, and we getting upset, and we go like, we took it out on them.
Yeah.
I mean,
what about you, family in the chat? Were you affected in any way by integration? Are you from the North? Are you from the South? Today we're talking about Family Feud, North versus South. What has been your experience as a Negro from any part of the diaspora concerning the North and the South? I grew up in South Florida, which is technically South, but it's a different kind of South, right? And growing up in Miami, it's more like the Caribbean. And, I didn't realize it until I left South Florida.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't realize how different it was from Atlanta, right? Atlanta is the South.
Yes.
Parts of North Florida are the South. But South Florida is an extension of the Caribbean. And
really?
So for my parents, they had the attitude that the white communities and white schools were the better for us. And my dad in particular, he had a very strong constitution, like if it's white, it's right. And my experience was completely different than yours, even being from the South, Brother Walter. I grew up in schools where I was mostly only one or two Black kids in my classroom.
Oh.
So I grew up having a very high amount of contact with other cultures, and not just Anglos, but Cubans, very, very large Cuban population in my school growing up. Jamaicans, Haitians, these were like the major ethnic chunks where we grew up. And so everything,
we didn't have none of them.
Right. Yeah, it was just like a Dutch pot of flavor.
We didn't have none of them.
Yeah. And what part of, do you know that I was in my 20s before I first even learned what an HBCU was? I didn't.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
I was almost 20 when I found out about Malcolm X. I never knew nothing about Malcolm X till I was almost 20 years old. Dude from New York came to Arkansas. He was telling us about Malcolm X, Medgar Evers. I'm like, all right then. I mean, are they movie stars?
Mm-hmm. And that's the downfall of not growing up in a predominantly Negro community and Negro school.
No, Sister Shar. This was Negroes.
Yes.
I grew up in the South. And when I got to like 19, 20 years old, I moved to Chicago. But my schooling was South. Yeah. Arkansas.
Really? And you didn't know Malcolm X?
No. Grew up in a project. I never knew that. And what's killing about it, the name of the projects was called St. John's. Negroes living in St. John's apartments.
Were you the one that your mom sent to go borrow sugar from that store?
My mother, you sent all of us all over go borrow something. 5 of us. So imagine all 5 of us going to go get something.
We all riding as a gang.
Yeah.
She
That's
dispatched
some
them all.
Akins. Hey, that's the
Yeah,
Akins crew.
my mother, she was the dispatcher. We got on back, boom.
All right, y'all, we eating today.
I mean, what's killing about it? And then you have like, there may be some disagreement. One lady and they been middle street fight. You came on my house and you borrowed some sugar last week. I didn't come to your house to borrow no sugar. I mean, they be going back and forth. Those Negroes for you.
What
Yeah.
about the biggest Negro transgression when you don't send people's dishes back? There was some fights that jumped off in my face.
What? Over dishes?
Man, hey,
Man.
family, anybody in the chat got the pet peeve about sending my dishes back? I had an aunt who would go off if it was more than 2 weeks. Her dish did not come back.
Yeah.
It says,
Mama, you send it over there. Oh, go over to Smelly House and get that plate I sent over there when I sent that food over there.
Let's see what we have going on in the chat. So, what is Michigan considered?
Detroit, Michigan is north.
North,
That's
all
north.
north.
Yeah, that's north of Chicago.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you, Sister Bonnie, about what that experience was like. I noticed Sister Coco G is in the chat too. She had a very interesting insight trying to lay low this morning. The link is in the chat, family. I'm pretty sure I was able to post it.
No, you ain't posted. If it was posted, I'd be able to see it.
It's not posted. Well, how do I post it?
Sure, you probably got to ask Karis on that one. I don't know how to post it. I seen it when you put it in the chat. Now there it is there.
But where else can I put it? Y'all know. Look, I'm learning.
I don't know nothing about YouTube except how to watch stuff, and they drugged me in the StreamYard today.
I don't know how else to get y'all in here. I did also see Orange Mane looming in the background. Okay, Sister Darlene coming through.
Woo, woo.
Thank you for joining us. Let's go ahead and get y'all in here. Peace and blessings, family. Welcome to the conversation.
Hey, Sam.
I know y'all.
What was your experience growing? Like where number one?
Well, Sister Shar, you know, let me stop you. You probably want to ask Karis how to post that link. Why he's in the thing? You know, he probably can just talk you through it. I don't think it's take a whole lot to do it.
Oh, okay. So, Sister Darlene was able to get in. Brother Karis, you want to tell me what to do?
Okay, so in the studio, you'll see some buttons for either Facebook or YouTube. Click down on that button for YouTube. Go to View on YouTube. That'll open up another little tab or window, however that's set up. And then you can go to the comment that was created, and you can do that as hang the comment or post comment. And then
this is interesting because I think we're going to have to do an actual training to help.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have our YouTube training.
Yes, because
I told you that, but y'all didn't want to do that. Look. Nah, so I'm just letting y'all suffer on your own. This is what I used to have to do.
See what I'm saying? He just threw us in the streets, y'all.
Hey, Walt. Karis really brought the Family Feud in. Oh, I tried to teach y'all.
See? He just set us in the street and then left us.
I am not broke.
Left us on the corner. Left us on the corner with a dirty diaper talking about, help me please.
Did you hit him with that clip?
No.
You didn't hit him with the Steve Harvey clip? Oh, you needed to hit him.
Oh, no.
Talk about that.
Yeah, let's see what Sister Darlene got to say, and then we can talk about that clip.
Oh my goodness. We need to talk about that, family. Sister Darlene.
Hello, everybody.
And welcome to Feud Friday.
going through the fire. So I said, let me just go ahead and jump in.
And so, as beautiful as you want to, welcome to the conversation. Please identify what area of the diaspora where your experience has been and how you've experienced being a Negro compared to others around you based on where you grew up.
Wow. Okay. Well, I've had experience in both areas. I grew up in the North. My family is from the South. So I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. They called that the Mistake on the Lake. And my mother and father migrated from a little town called Edenton, Georgia, back in the 50s. So I would spend my summers in the South, and I grew up in the North. So growing up in the North, when we first, make a long story short, when we first bought our first home, it was in a very, very nice neighborhood. And after that, you had what they call white flight. But we still had our own banks. We had a hospital called Forest City Hospital. We had our own grocery stores. And it was nice. There were a lot of manufacturing jobs there. So our parents worked. Most of the homes had two parents, a mother and a father in there. And all of a sudden, over the years, you can see that the manufacturing jobs started to leave. The hospital closed up, which was Black run and owned. You saw the immigrants coming in to the stores. So now the city kind of looks like a war zone. But my experience in the South, as a child coming down, my grandparents didn't even have. If the Most High let me live till October, I'll be 68 years old. So the Most High, my grandparents at one time didn't have running water. So I would come down here, walk around barefooted, go to the spring, get water, watch them garden, feed the animals, and even wash clothes outside. So I've had the experience I can survive. So because I watched them survive on nothing. And
you got an example.
Right.
I'm picking Auntie Darlene for my Hunger Games teams. I got first dibs.
So I had the privilege to see both the South and understand the oppression. The little town, Edenton, Georgia. I can't think of the guy. Uncle Remus, the Brother Rabbit or whatever, the guy that wrote that story. It's an old racist book, but anyway. Yeah. So if I thought I could see the prejudice in the North about the people in the South, our families like, oh, they, country, and then I could see the oppression too with my aunts and uncles sharecropping and just getting taken to the cleaners.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and that's it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for coming in here. We appreciate you so much. And those of you in the chat who don't know, Auntie Darlene is a Q2UA leader of our medical team and is doing phenomenal work in advancing the mission of Q2UA on behalf of our community and for the benefit of our people here in the diaspora and abroad on the continent. So thank you so much, Sister Darlene, and we appreciate you. Sister Bonnie, happy Friday, happy Friday. What time is it in your neck of the woods?
5:13 a.m.
That's the prayer warrior hours.
Exactly.
But
I've
let's
been up for about 3.5 hours.
yeah, you working at what's that, second shift?
Mm-mm.
No,
That
baby,
first
I'm
shit.
retired.
No, what I mean your hours, you're being up.
Oh no, I work first shift at
that's
home.
the that's the early first shift.
Yes, yes, that's me. That's me.
Auntie Bonnie, tell us about your experience. First, tell us what region you're from and what your experience was.
I was born and raised in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I did have some experiences in the South, but it wasn't a lot. For the most part, my mom wouldn't let me go down there until I was 14 because she knew how I was. She
Well, now
knew how I
you have
was,
to
and I was
separate.
probably not going to be coming back if I had gone sooner.
Raw.
No.
Okay. And she knew that. So I was 14, and when I did go to Mississippi, where she's from, I was 14 years old, and she went with me. Trust me, my mom went with me, and she was
Yeah,
laying down the law. Don't do this. Don't say that. Just don't keep your mouth shut. Basically, is what she told me.
that
But
kind of
my experiences growing up, I grew up in a predominantly Black neighborhood in Grand Rapids. It was on the southeast side of Grand Rapids. Um, my sister and I, and this is where we went to school. I went to a predominantly black, two predominantly black elementary schools, and the middle school I went to. I think you could count the white people in that school on one hand.
man. That's the same kind of school I went to.
I wish I did go to a school like that.
all black, and just a
It was all black at that
few
time.
specks
It
of
was all
salt,
black.
specks of salt when I got to junior high school.
No, well, see, I went to it was South High School, and to give you a little bit of history of South High School, back in the day, it was actually a predominantly white school
Mm-hmm.
because all the black folks lived on the west side, the southwest side of town, and the white folks lived on the southeast side of town. So I was
Mm,
quite young when we moved to the southeast side.
Now,
yeah,
this might be a tough question for you to answer, and I'd understand if you can't, but did y'all have your textbooks? Were they new books?
No,
No,
mm,
absolutely not.
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 no,
We didn't
yeah,
experience the new books until they started busing.
Mm.
And they
yeah,
bussed us out of our neighborhood to the white neighborhood.
What
And
was
it was a hot mess,
what
believe me.
happened?
mm.
Fights all the time. I don't care which school you were at, whether you were at Creston, where I went to school, or Union High School, where I had cousins that went to school, or Ottawa Hills High School, where I had other cousins that went to school. It didn't matter. They had fights continuously. And it was mostly because the white kids would harass and pick at the black kids. The one
Mm-hmm.
thing that saved me from a fight, 'cause this is back in the day when as my sister calls me, Bonnie no tact, I had no tact. And there was one girl, her name was Diane. She was a junior. I was a sophomore. So I was in 10th grade. She was in the 11th grade. And this girl would harass me every day in the hallway as I'm going from one class to another. And boy, she caught me on the wrong day. And the book bag went, the sweater went. And I'm like, okay, come on. Since you want a piece of me, come on. Because I'm getting ready to mop these halls with you. What stopped that from happening? There was a young lady who actually was one of that handful of white students that went to South with me. She happened to walk up and she grabbed me by my arm and she said, no, Bonnie, you are not going to do this.
Exactly.
She said, you will be suspended. And matter of fact, they would expel you. And you know this. She pulled me away, would not, and I was fighting. I was fighting her, trying to get to that girl. And she said, no, you're not doing this. You're
Now,
not doing this.
I'm gonna make an assumption. I'm gonna make a very bold assumption here. You didn't have to worry about having your weave pulled out.
Absolutely not.
Your eyelashes,
Absolutely
none of
not.
your fake nails and that. It was just
Actually,
all natural.
my hair was natural.
Mm-mm.
No perm, none of that stuff. My hair was natural.
I love it. Well, can you describe any differences you've noticed having been to the South and living in the North? Any differences that, as in terms of how being a Negro, your experience as a Negro in the South versus in the North?
Yes. I talked my mom into letting me go to the store with a couple of my cousins. And she laid down the law before we left. We got to the store and I was looking for something in particular. Now, me being from the North, I wasn't into the yes ma'am and no sir stuff. I wasn't into that. And I went to the counter and I asked, ma'am, I'm looking for this. Do you carry this? She turned around and looked at me. She looked me up and down. This white woman did. She said, you ain't from around here, are you? And my cousin, my older cousin, he walked up. He said, no, she's not. She's from up north. I kind of thought so. And it kind of took me aback. And I was like,
Stank face.
I've only seen that in movies.
Yeah.
That's screaming stank face.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
yes.
remember my father, we coming down south in the small town, and he took me by this sign and he pinched me and I started crying. He said, you see that sign? I want you to remember that sign. And it was the word colored. And I remember Jim Crow, and I was young, but he always wanted me to remember that word, that sign, that color, like this is for the color to come in. And that's one of the memories that I have, coming down south with my parents.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you both so much for sharing these memories with us. They're our memories. It's the memories of our people, our community, our nation, our experience here in the diaspora. And us talking about this is a part of how we heal together. Thank you again, Sister Bonnie. For those of you who do not know, Auntie Bonnie is a Q2A leader in our prayer team, leading and directing the prayers of our organization for the mission and for our people. Again, Q2A is your organization. Q2A channel is your channel. This belongs to you. And we are here to serve our community through the mission of Question at Africa. And that is critical infrastructure and economic development for the benefit of the African continent and its people here in the diaspora as well. And we're gonna move on and pull in some more conversation here. We have some more contestants here on the Family Friday Family Feud. Sister Coco G, happy Friday!
Happy Friday to you.
Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Please identify your region and tell us about your experience as a Negro growing up in your region.
Well, I'm from the Northeast, raised in Boston, Massachusetts. Um, my story parallels Sister Darlene's, but I'm not going to go down that path because you guys heard this story over and over again. I'm going to take you in a different direction. Um, for me, it's the emotional effects of the racism, the mental effects of the racism that I'm going to travel down. Um, for me, thinking about racism when I was growing up, it wasn't over. It wasn't in your face. It was silent, where I would have friends invite me to their homes thinking, oh, goodwill. And they would bring me in to attack me, um, gang up on me, use me as a punching bag because they thought, well, we could seclude her and attack her and none would be the wiser. But
What?
little did they know that this little black girl grew up with brothers that taught her how to fight.
And carried a little shank.
Yeah, because my brothers would always tell me, if you don't win this fight, we're going to beat you up. That type of experience.
What?
Oh
Ye-
my goodness.
Yes.
Wow, that is heavy.
Did you ever
So,
experience the can I touch your hair?
yes. Is that your real hair? Because I don't understand. They believe that black people can't grow hair. So they would
Mm,
always, be up in my hair. And, I sat there like, oh, okay. Like you go along to get along
Mm-hmm.
type mentality. That's what I had. So for me, it was always the sense of I want to be part of that group, knowing that they weren't really my friends,
Mm.
but
mm,
regardless, like trying every which way to fit in
right, right.
because white is right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of my experiences growing up was always trying to fit in. I want to be just like them. I want to be able to have all the advantages that they had. Like I would get to a certain point where, yeah, okay, I'm getting there. I'm getting there, just to have them kick me down and stomp on my confidence and break me. But
Wow.
I wasn't that type of person to break easy. It was like, okay, I got you. I'm gonna one up you type
How did you
mentality.
compete? How did you compete in your surroundings as a Negro amongst or being like counted out, like not a majority, like some of our brothers and our sisters have shared your experience being like outnumbered. How did you compete?
The thing is, even though like my peers would try to knock me down, I would always go to the adults because they had that guilt complex. They would feel guilty, and that's how I maneuvered because I knew they felt guilty. I figured that one out. And that's how I got ahead and got invited to places I wouldn't normally be invited to, regardless of what my peers think, and they would give me the stank eye. Like, how did she get here? What is she doing here? So it was the breaking down, or the attempt to break down my confidence in who the Most High wanted me to be and become. Even within the church, where you have the black church and the white church, and then you'd meet up for like camp meetings and things like that, you would also see the racism. We're supposed to be the body, the so-called body of Christ, but yet there's division. And it's so the racism in kindness, where they try to put all this sugar on top of it as if they're not racist, but they're blatant about it.
You know, that's one of the most painful experiences that I hear from our community is the racism within the faith, or
Yes.
what we believed was a shared faith, where we again are coming from a paradigm where we've been encouraged integrate, integrate, integrate. Love knows no color. We have more that, you know, this that the gospel unites us, but yet and still there's a heart issue.
Yes.
Even within the faith, and that screams pain. And I'm hearing you articulate that it's like a conundrum. Like, wait a minute, I thought we believed the same. So why do you treat me different?
And you could see it, and they would go about their business as if they were not racist, or they would separate you, where we would come together and have activities where they would separate the blacks from the whites.
Wait. They separate. How? Okay. How? What type of activities? Where did you experience the separation?
So every summer I would go to youth camp, and you could tell you'd have like what it would like be like the whites on one side and the blacks on the other side, and you could just see that. That's where I experienced it. Or you see the shifting of the bodies, like, don't come near me. That's where I experienced that. And
this is in the
the
north.
camp leaders were okay with that.
This is in the north.
This is in the north.
What?
Yeah, it's very racist up here. It's extremely racist up here, especially where I grew up. Extremely racist. But they're so polite with it. But there's also instances where they're not polite
That's
with
what
it.
I was thinking.
I remember
They're covert with
yes.
it. And then the South, you know, they're overt with it. So they
Right.
show you, but
Exactly, because that's what we experienced. Barbara and I, we experienced the same thing in Michigan. They were very, very covert with what they were doing. They
Yeah.
smile in your face, stab you in your
Your
back,
back.
kick you in your face, and act like nothing happened.
So it's the same spirit, but a different manifestation.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Sister Coco G, for sharing, and we'll definitely circle back, and feel free to hop in. We're going to welcome you in, Brother Eric. Thank you for joining us. Q2UA Family Feud Friday. How are you? What's the good word?
Shalom, can you hear me?
Yes.
Blessings to the chat. Blessings to big up Q2UA. Love you guys. So, I noticed that you mentioned, in South Florida, it's a heavy Caribbean population. Well, in Brooklyn, it is too, right? And see, my mom is from Barbados, right? My father's from the South. So, growing up, they used to call us coconut, and you just came off the boat and all this foolishness, right? But that was mostly the people that like us.
Mm-hmm.
But the white, I grew up in mostly mixed schools. I went to mostly mixed schools, but I noticed and this is from young, you know. This is from young. I noticed it always seemed like I was isolated in the class. Like the mix, like mostly the white students and the Asian students got the attention, but it was always negative attention towards the black students, and I could never understand why. Like, why am I feeling this way? It makes no sense. It's not like we all in a group. It's nothing but black kids, in this classroom. It's a mix, but the black kids seem to always get the negative attention, or we was just ignored. When the teacher would ask us to read, it was always with a aggression, or it was, and the white and the Asian student, they was always like treated with more compassion or with a light tone. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Mm-hmm. We all tracking with you. You know, this
Mm-hmm.
stuff we know
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
without.
we picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, we got
So
you.
it was. I mean, I don't care whether it was in the lunchroom, whether we was leaving class, going to the yard. The black students would always get the aggression. You're supposed to stay in line. You're not moving fast enough. You're moving too slow. It was always something, and I would notice that the Asian and the Caucasian students would snicker, and I'm saying, what the hell is so goddamn funny?
Of course, they knew what was going on.
I mean, I don't even know. I'm pretty sure at home and at the dinner table, the parents was telling them this and that about us and this, that, and the other. And I guess, that was reinforcement for them to accept that kind of idea about the black students. But like I said, for the life of me, I couldn't understand why this stuff was going on. I give an example of the aggression. This is first grade now. I remember to this day. So you always had to raise your hand to ask a question, to request something. So I had to use the restroom. I had to use the bathroom, right? So I raised my hand, and Miss Kaufman, to this day, I remember her name. I raised my hand to use the restroom. She said, "Sure, you can go use the restroom." And in this classroom, the bathroom is right across the hallway from the class. So I go in the classroom. I mean, I leave the classroom, go in the bathroom. She opens the door, let me out. I'm sorry, the door was already open at that time. They used to leave the doors open. So when I finish using the restroom, I come out the bathroom, and she's talking to another teacher at the door. Right? She's standing in the doorway. So I said, "Excuse me," to go inside back in the class. She said, "What are you doing outside the class?"
What?
As the Most High is my witness. She said, "What are you doing outside the class? Who told you?" I said, "Miss Kaufman, you said I the bathroom." "I didn't tell you go." And she took me by the back of my head and pushed me in the class, in between
What?
her,
What?
her and the next.
What?
They laughed. They
And
laughed.
laugh.
I was so hurt. I couldn't concentrate for this is early in the morning,
Yeah.
When class didn't even start. We just being seated. And that wrecked me for the whole day.
Well,
Couldn't figure it out. I couldn't understand.
Brother Eric, the fact that you have such a vivid memory from so young, it really just highlights the traumatic effect of being mistreated and not really understanding why were you treated.
Why?
You're literally reminding me of when my brother in the second grade fell on the floor being a clown while in line going back to class, and his teacher, Miss Friedman, kicked him while he was on the.
What?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's just like one of the stories. I mean, I could tell you so. I mean, I'm preaching to the choir. Y'all know this stuff. And if you
Yeah.
think the North is any less racist than the South, like you said, they're covert with it. They're subliminal with it. But the results is still the same.
Still the same, exactly.
The results is still the same.
I
And
would have never thought that.
that's why we're talking about it, because so what happens a lot of times when we isolate ourselves from one another, and we do just like kids do in high school. You know what table you sat at when you were in high school.
Hmm. Yeah, you
And
know who your friends are.
we segregate ourselves among ourselves,
Yeah.
right? So then there's those of us who have this southern twang, we kind of sit together, and then those of
Hmm.
us who went to certain kind of schools, we sit together, and then those of us who have that New York, that northern,
That northern sling.
y'all sit together. But when we're sharing spaces, and we're sharing and we're opening up about our experiences, we're all the same people, and we've all been
Yes.
hurt the same way. And that's the reason for the family feud. And that's why, we're calling out our brothers and sisters who are on the continent. This is not just a conversation for the diaspora. This is a shared experience, because we've had the same colonizers. It's just that their tactics were different based on where
Hmm.
we've been located.
Yeah.
We're talking today about how the racism manifests differently between the North and the South. We haven't even gotten the East Coast, West Coast family feud. We'll do that.
Mm-mm.
We'll
Yeah.
do that in another episode, right? But the other thing, the reason why this is so important, y'all, is number one, like Brother Eric was saying, I hope y'all understand. And we're all sitting here on the edge of our seats cringing with you, Brother Eric.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
That's
It's crazy
crazy.
at that young age, and they had this thing, if you act out, I'm gonna call your house. If you act out, I'm gonna send a letter to you. And I'm gonna tell you how.
Brother Eric, that was me all day, every day.
Let me tell you something. That was one of the things I freaking feared the most. Them calling the house or sending a letter
Mhm.
to the house. Let me tell you,
Me too.
listen, it was
Hmm.
but my father ruled that house like, you know, uh, 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 uh. Anyway, he was one nothing to play with. Let me just put it.
Right.
All right, we all walked the straight line. We didn't fight each other, and if we fought each other, we better make sure he out. You understand? So when Sister Coco was saying, taught her how to fight and thus and so, let me tell you something. My father said, if one fight, you all fight. See, this is before we knew who we were and we supposed to love each other and all this other stuff. Self-preservation was number one. So if one of us was fighting, all 19 of us was fighting.
Woo.
Yes, brother.
They not the
Did you say 19?
Yes.
Did you say 19?
well, somewhere around there. There's 14, 15 of us. But I'm just being. But yeah, it was not. And then Papa had some.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I found that out later on in life. I was like, my God, sorry, just brought it up. One day I was at my dad's house, right? And he said, me and my girlfriend, we just decided to go there. And we're sitting. And he said, listen, I'm gonna go to the store. Do you want anything? I said, yeah, bring me back a grape soda. He said, okay. So he closed the door. So all of a sudden the door opened back up. I mean, like literally like 2 minutes. 2 minutes later, the door opened up. And I said, what happened? You forgot something? And then I did a double take. When I tell you that this man was the splitting image of my father, me and my girlfriend looked at each other and said, wait a minute, hold on. This brother was the splitting image of my father. Come to find out, I had a brother named Michael that I didn't know about.
What?
Yep. That's just side thing. But as far as this believing that the North is any less racist than the South? No. Mm-mm. No
Man,
family.
I thought the North was a promised land
No.
until
It's
today.
the same spirit, just like Shaw said. It's the same spirit, just with a different color paint, a different
Yeah,
flavor, but it's all the same wickedness.
It's a remix. Now,
Yeah.
yeah.
so that's the big takeaway for today, y'all. And the reason why we're having this family feud. And I just had the most silly idea that I'd love to have a bonus round on something that really is different between the North and the South. And y'all know I'm about to go there. It's gonna be food.
Don't go there with the grits.
Don't
Uh-oh.
go.
This is not a grit moment.
If you don't already know, the scriptures teach that laughter, it does our hearts good like a medicine.
Hmm.
And so whenever we're talking about things that are opening up wounds, what's important is to vent it, talk about it, release it, and then the ointment that you put on it is laughter. When you're talking about washing wounds, and I know I'm in Auntie Darlene's lane and Brother Mike's lane here when I talk about the medical application, but that peroxide and then that neosporin that you put on it is a
There
laughter.
you go. Uh-huh.
Definitely peroxide.
Yes.
Food grade peroxide. Food grade.
Yeah.
So we have Team North. It looks like we have formed up. We have a Team North of Sister Bonnie, Sister Coco G, Brother Eric, and we have a Team South, Brother Walter, Sister Darlene. You can declare your team. What team you want to? What team you want to be on?
I don't know if I can. I'm gonna play both sides.
She said she wants to guarantee a win.
Right.
She wants to guarantee a win.
She's like, what? I'm jumping ship.
Brother Mike, you can declare a team. Yeah, well, Midwest, you have to go South. Your team South. Brother Karis, we didn't get a chance to hear you chime in on your North versus South experience or insights. Did you want to speak to it?
I think Karis is working in the background. He's working on something in the. Oh, what? Oh, that's him. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, y'all caught me sending tons of emails. It feels good to kind of,
We caught you eating grits.
With sugar.
With
It
sugar.
feels good to send some emails, and do some work, on but y'all don't want to know about my experience? Y'all want to know about my experience? Well, it started at 3-4 years old. Because I lived in I grew up, I was born in Miami. I was born in Miami at about 5 years old. My parents divorced, and then I moved up to New Jersey. And that was South Jersey. So, I've seen racism everywhere. When I was about 5 years old, I was actually at I was about 4. I was still 4 because I could remember this. In the daycare that I was at, it was a Christian. All these experiences were with Christian, right? So I was in a Christian daycare, and the teacher, Mrs. French, still remember her name. I'm like Eric, I still remember her name, Mrs. French. She tied me to a chair. I still remember that little old school ceramic back chairs, and with the metal and the cream,
I'm
and then
telling you,
the
these
ceramic,
Christians.
then the mint green, the mint,
I remember them chairs.
I still remember that. It was a traumatic experience. She took my jacket and she tied me to the chair, and my mom found me because she picked me up and she said, "What did you do? Why is my son like this?" I wasn't much concerned. For me, I'm like, okay, I'm a kid. I wasn't thinking too much of it because the class was kind of laughing and I kind of laughed. I was joking back. But then when my mom saw that, My mom, when I could tell, you could tell like when your mom's expression is like, that horrid expression.
Yeah.
And I remember when my dad heard about it when I came back home, I honestly thought I was going to get in trouble. It was like, oh man,
Yeah.
I'm going to get in trouble. No, my dad wanted to go up and, not be so Christ like on
Handle.
the
Yeah.
teachers.
We would have had to find you a new school because that one would have been burnt down.
Yeah.
we
So,
would have went Captain Traore on Miss French.
Amen.
What?
Mm.
That
yeah.
is crazy.
You
So I
trying
so I
child
remember because my parents keep talking about that, and I'm like, yeah, I still remember that because the school had to give like a formal apology, we're sorry, and all that other stuff, and, you know
Mhm.
those admonitions,
She kept her job though.
yeah, she kept her job.
Yeah.
This is
Probably
slavery.
got a bonus. Probably got a
Mhm.
bonus.
Can I tell you? I don't mean to cut you off. Let me tell you a quick story. Since you mentioned that, my son. This goes to show that this crap is still going on to today. All right. Now, my son, he's a grown man now. He's still my baby. I treat him, I spoil him, but he's a grown man. But when he was in elementary school, right, there was this teacher used to needle my son every day. Didn't find out that my son, he's introverted. You know, don't piss him off. Trust me, he's his father's son. Don't piss him off. But outside of that, he's very withdrawn. So he would come home and not say anything. So finally, my wife, she asked him, "What's wrong?" She said, and then finally he opened up. He said, "Well, the teacher is, she doesn't like me." What do you mean she doesn't like you? Well, mom, I like to take my shoes off and sit in the chair. Like he likes to cross his feet. He gets that from his mother. The minute she get in the car, she take her shoes off. The minute she get in the house, she take her shoes off. So he gets that from her. Like he wants to be comfortable. So he would take his shoes off, cross his feet in the chair. Now he's paying attention. He's doing everything he's supposed to do, but he likes to take his shoes off. Now my wife didn't find out about the shoe business after this incident. After what I'm telling you, she goes up to the school and wants to know why what is the problem with my son. And long story short, um she had the principal come to the class and the teacher come to the class and notice he's always getting these notes on his paperwork and all this other stuff. And my wife, very smart lady, she's looking at his homework and saying, well, there's nothing, I don't see anything wrong with this. Well, go up to the school and says, my son says that you have a problem with him, that you always teasing him and making fun of his name. His name is Imani. And you're making fun of his name, Imani, and all the class is laughing. The kids are laughing. And
Mm-mm.
and she's telling him, I want my son out of this class. Not tomorrow, immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked, now if you know anything about a Jamaican or a Panamanian, you don't want to mess with them. You don't want to say too much to them. So she's telling this teacher in front of the principal, you are not to look at my son. You are not to speak to my son. If he's walking down the hallway, you better go the other way. Right? I want my son out of this class immediately. Not tomorrow, right now. So the principal name is Barbara. She said, okay, no problem. Biera, I'm sorry, Biera, something like that. And they took him out the class. They immediately put him in the next class, right? So the teacher comes to the class where my son is going to and bringing him some paperwork. And she says, here, Eric, you left. My wife said, did I not goddamn tell you?
What? Shelly, you don't want to
Well,
play.
I said you don't to speak to him.
Oh my.
What?
I forget this lady's name. It'll come to me.
Brother Eric, to piggyback off that, I had my son in seventh grade. He had a social studies teacher that would always harass him.
Hmm.
So one day he decided to be funny and told my son, I'm going to go by your house and flip over a cross and burn it in your front yard.
Oh no.
Crazy.
This
So,
is in the north.
Yes.
yes.
Oh yeah, they did stupid stuff like that.
And so my son comes home and I'm like, Josh, what's wrong? And he was bawling, he was crying. He was like, the teacher said he's gonna come and burn a cross on our front yard. So the next day, listen, I lit that school up.
Mhm.
I am not playing.
Hmm.
So now listen.
With I wasn't my sentences weren't even done.
Hmm,
The teacher was fired.
that's excellent.
Wow. Yeah.
Good. Good.
I had. Oh,
I
go
wish
ahead.
my had option of having her ass removed. But let me get you to the kicker. And my wife didn't find this out until after this incident, so he was out of the class. So I tell you, he used to take his shoes off and like cross his feet because he liked to be comfortable. One day, the teacher took his shoes and put them in the garbage.
No.
Mm-mm.
Took the used shoes
What?
and put his sneakers and dumped them in the garbage. My wife didn't find this out until after he was removed, and she said it must have been the Lord.
She was going to jail that day.
But she said she would have definitely been going to jail.
Yep.
I would have had to
That's
give up
crazy.
money for her.
Yeah.
She was going to jail that day.
I had paid for my son to go to this Lutheran school, and looked like every other day I was getting a note home. He was fighting, or he's this and that. So I had an alteration shop, so I was able to make my hours like I needed to. So I went up there, sat in the classroom. He's the only one of us there. And little
Right.
Johnny, little Mary, everybody, they're all over the place doing all, just acting up. And so when I talked to my son and I said, Elliot, what's the problem? He said, Mom, they are picking with me, so I just beat him up. I call him
Man
demolition.
after my own heart.
I call
Yours
him
and mine too.
like I told the teacher though, don't call me about him acting up when you have all of them, picking with him. But eventually I took him out. But yeah, and that would mess up your child.
It will.
I'm gonna tell you, sister, that my son was 7, and the teacher was. My son was 7. No. Mike was 5, and they were always telling him that he was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's bad. He needs to be on some medicine. I'm like, give it to your kids.
Right.
I mean, and that's how my mind was. And then the thing, I did not realize how bad it was until one day, my son, he got home from school, just sitting around, and he just sat beside me, laid his head on my side. He said, Daddy, can you take me to heaven to be with Jesus?
Wow.
And I was like, what? The boy, he had me stuttering. I was like, why you want to go be with Jesus? Mommy, the teacher's always saying I'm bad. I'm just tired of being bad. Man, you talk about Negro. That took me from one to 100, and I was like, man, look here, Mike, you're not bad. You do the same thing the rest of the kids do. You're playing all the time. You're going to do that. I said, trust and believe. It's going to wear off. You're not bad. But oh man, I lit into his mother like there was no yesterday. And I think that's one of the things where I'm an advocate for people with disabilities. My brother. Oh shucks, my brother, my oldest brother. When my brother, he get upset, and my brother had some challenges. So we was in the same grade because he had to repeat a grade because he was in the hospital all the time. But these teachers was making fun of him and had the classroom laughing at him. And we was in the fifth grade. He ran out into the woods crying, and they always come and get me to bring him back. I was like the only one he was listening to. I really didn't want to do it because I knew what was going to happen once we got home. But I'm looking at these grown people laughing at my brother with disabilities.
Adults. And y'all,
Yeah.
The stuff that's coming up today, it indicates that we're gonna have to continue to talk about this, y'all. Because these wounds go deep, they go wide. These wounds are pervasive. And now, as adults, when we sit back and we think about the implications, I could go on a complete rant for 3 days straight about the school to prison pipeline, especially with respect to Black male students.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to have another round to discuss the school issues and our Negro experiences because
We need
today,
our own school.
Absolutely.
well, look, we did a great job educating brilliance with very little.
Right.
A single room with a bunch of different kids at different ages and a teacher that loved them kids and taught them. We did that
Exactly.
when slavery ended. We did that. We raised brilliant minds with less on less. We turned lemons into lemonade. And so,
Exactly.
the
That's what
purpose
we
of
do.
today's conversation is not about hatred, it's about healing. It's about us hearing each other and sharing each other's pain because this is how we heal. And, Sister Coco G, I don't know if you got my message, but we need you to hop off and hop back on. We got to do this round though. We got to do a little friendly competition. North,
Somebody said they waiting in the chat too.
I just pulled her up. Hey, Sister
All
Sharice,
right.
happy Friday. Sister Sharice, you're muted. Welcome in.
Okay, sorry about that.
What's the good word? Happy Family Feud Friday. Welcome.
Happy Friday. Shalom, shalom, everybody in the chat and everybody
Shalom.
on the panel here.
Yes, please state your North or South and tell us about your experience as a Negro.
So, I normally don't share because my experience is always so totally different from everybody. But I felt really comfortable sharing with you guys, so I'm gonna I'll share today. I have North and West experience. West, San Diego, because I lived between San Diego and Chicago. It's mostly Chicago, but I lived between San Diego and Chicago. And I found out why I don't share most of the time because a lot of people tell me I was privileged, air quotes. So that's why I don't share because everybody's sitting here got these fight stories. I don't have these fight stories because I always had the football team to fight for me in high school. So, but anyway, I do. I and I live in Chicago right now currently, and so I kind of um, uh, get what Mike's be saying. When he tell his stories, some of his stories. I don't have a lot of West Side stories though, Mike. Your West Side stories are great.
Yeah, but they can work your nerves at time now.
Don't I know it? Don't I know it? Because I'm a South
Yeah.
Sider. I'm a South Sider. But I attended all mostly all black schools, high school and grammar school. And then, but my experience is different. My grandmother on my mother's side is, yeah, Lashonda, no fight stories. um, my grandmother on my mother's side, my mother's people are Cuban and Native American, air quotes, now that I'm finding out that, Native Americans ain't what they say they are, but from the at the time they were Cuban and Native American. But the part about that is they were the very light skinned, very fair skinned Cubans. And so saying that to say, my mother's people are all extremely fair skinned and they all have gray eyes and green eyes and wavy hair. So I, even though I went to all black schools, I was at I was in the white areas all the time of Chicago, and those areas that we were not permitted to go into. Bridgeport was one of them,
Oh
and
yeah. Mm.
yeah, right downtown, north downtown, all the Gold Coast. I was in all those areas we were not allowed to go in. On all those um white suburban areas that a lot of black people didn't go to. I went to with my grandmother and my uncles. They dared you to say anything to me, even though I was light skinned. I wasn't as light as they were, so they would dare you to say anything to me. So I didn't have these experiences going into high school. I came back from San Diego speaking quite proper and saying soda, and they don't say soda in Chicago. It's pop.
Yep.
That's right. They
Yep.
don't say soda in Michigan either. It's pop.
Right. So that I'm saying soda,
Yeah.
and I'm speaking air quote the Queen's English, and then plus I was down in the Valley in Chicago. I mean in San Diego. I was down in the Valley in L.A. That's more L.A. And so I came back wearing clothes like Madonna. I had a whole big old lace bow in my hair, and I wore lace stockings, and I had the fingerless gloves and all of that. I had all those things going on, and the micro minis, and they've never seen anything like that. They've never seen anything like that in Chicago, and they made fun of me all the time. So by the time I got into high school, in grammar school, even though I did attend a all black grammar school, my father, my daddy, he rest his soul, he drove a ice cream truck. So he would always bring his ice cream truck to my grammar school so that he could watch over me. So they could watch because he knew that here I am speaking. And then plus in grammar school, I went to modeling school and I went to etiquette school. So so he knew I was different. And so he would always bring his ice cream truck around and stay around and to watch over me. And even though I walked home from school, he would still have the truck follow me. And then plus he was part of the Black Panthers, so his friends were always up there in their gear on the corners watching. So I have that. And then when I got in high school, I made friends with the football team. I did not date any high school guys, so it's not that type of friends, okay? But I was
Mhm.
in the band, so the band and the football team kind of went hand in hand. And I always
Hmm.
sat, just like I heard you guys talking about the different tables you sit at in high school, in school. I sat at the football table, and nobody messed with me. That's why I don't have any fight stories. And then nobody messed with me because I was with the football team. That's that weird girl with the football team. That's all how I was always known.
Mhm.
And band, you're a band nerd. You're a band geek. So I got that too. I got that too. I'm a band nerd. I'm a band geek. And they was like, I don't care. Don't mess with her. She with the football team. So but I do. The one when I first experienced racism, it was in Bridgeport, and I went to a Subway, and I was every bit of 12, 10, 12, and somewhere around there, and I went in with my money in my hand, and I got in line, and I'm standing in line and with my money in my hand, and I walk up, I keep walking up, keep walking next. So I'm next, and I go to give my order, and the girl, she was white, taking my order. She went right past me. Ma'am, you're next. So I said, okay, all right, I'm gonna let that one slide. And when she's done with her order, sir, how can I help you? I knew exactly what this was. I said, okay.
Yeah.
I knew exactly
Yeah,
what this was. So
you shouldn't let that first one slide. You should have hopped on that one.
obviously,
Hey,
obviously.
give me one.
So,
Shame on you. Give me twice.
right.
Shame on me.
So shame on me. Exactly. So once I saw this, she said that with the guy, I turned around, I started walking towards the door, and my grandmother and my uncle were waiting in the car. My grandmother and my uncle, like I said, they're extremely fair skinned. They both had gray eyes and the wavy hair. My uncle, every bit looks Italian. Every bit. He slicks his hair back, all that. He looks every bit Italian. I turned around and started walking towards the door. They saw me coming towards the door, and they both met me in the door. And my uncle comes in with a loud voice. What's going on, Tamara? Where your sandwich at? Where your sandwich?
Hey, he let that Negro out in him. He let
He
the
sure
Negro
did.
out.
He sure did. He sure did. He sure did. And my grandmother standing there with her hands on her hips. I said,
Oh,
right, right. Both hands on the hips. Right. You don't mess with grandma.
Yeah.
I
This a
said,
free sandwich
Uncle
day.
Ronnie, I get the big puppy dog eyes. Uncle Ronnie, that lady won't take my order. And he said, where's your manager, young lady? Guy come out. White guy come out. Sir. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? Oh, what's happening? He said, my niece ain't got her sandwich. He said, he was like, sir. Oh, I'm sure there was a misunderstanding. He said, ain't no misunderstanding. These other two people went right ahead of her. These other two people went right ahead of her. And that young lady went all around her. He said, I want a sandwich. My mama want a sandwich, and double whatever my niece want on her sandwich. He said, and I ain't paying you 2 nickels. He snatched the money out of my hand, and he put the money back in his pocket. Oh, yes, sir. We right away, sir. Right away, sir.
Exactly.
He made all 3 of us a sandwich, and I got double meat on my. I got chips. I got extra soda. All that.
Come on.
All that.
Oh, that's what's
Right.
up.
My uncle was like, I'm not playing with you. I'm not playing with you. And then he took the guy in the back and had some other discussion with him in the back. I don't know what he said to him, but to this day, for a long time when I went in that subway, hey, Miss Crockett, hey.
he probably had to put some street knowledge up on him.
He probably did. He probably
When
did.
she coming here, you better take care of her.
That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. Literally, that's exactly what it was. Because I found out that my uncle worked with Capone. He used to work with his people.
That's all you have to say.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And that's all. And that's probably what it was when he took him in the back and had something to say to him. You know.
Well, Sister Sharice, we appreciate you hopping on. There's so many notes to what you were saying that really resonated and piggyback on what Sister Coco G was saying about being a misfit. And to that point, we will have a family feud. We're going to have Team Light Skin and Team Dark Skin. Family Feud Friday. So y'all stay tuned because we're going to share some of those experiences as well. Y'all, they divided us on all of these lines, and we are family. And we need to talk about these things. We need to bond with each other over this pain, because just because you look a little different, or just because you came from a different region, or just because your experience was not exactly like what you think the Black experience is, the Black experience is a diaspora of experiences. We're scattered to the 4 corners of the earth, and we've all landed in different spots, but we are the same people. And, our prayer here at Q2UA is that we return to that unity of love for our people. We have a right to love us.
Right.
Let's love us. So y'all, we have been bonding for 1 hour and 45 minutes. And I want to give everybody the opportunity to participate in the bonus round. I'm gonna ask the chat. To vote on who wins with this Family Feud question. Team North or Team South. So Sister Sharice, we're gonna put you on Team North with Brother Eric and Sister Bonnie. Sister Coco G is also on Team North. Sister Coco G, you can vote in the chat because there was an issue with your device on StreamYard. And then Sister Darlene gets 2 votes. Sister Darlene gonna vote for Team North and South. Brother Karras, what team are you on?
You may be working.
Brother Michael,
I'll be on Team South.
Team South. Brother
Oh,
Michael,
pretty big.
you're going to be Team
okay.
South.
I had to go
Because
around and I'm like,
Oh yeah, that's where all the Negroes at. South. Mm-hmm.
Brother Walt is
Very
Team South,
funny, Michael.
and I am Team South. So we're going to start with Team North. Name your favorite warm breakfast cereal. Team North, starting with you, Brother Eric.
He may have been talking to somebody, I think.
Okay. Sister Auntie Bonnie, favorite warm breakfast cereal.
I have 2. Rice and grits.
Rice for breakfast?
Yes.
Oh, you
Yes, rice is delicious for breakfast.
What? Okay, this is a North thing.
Yeah, that's North thing. That's like sugar and grits.
Now listen.
No, we ate that in the South. We ate rice. We ate rice, and yeah, in the morning too. Also,
Listen, don't laugh. I put sugar.
Okay.
You understand? I put sugar, cheese, and what you put in my thing on? What else? Butter, sugar, and cheese in my grits.
So that's your favorite breakfast cereal is cheesy, sugary grits.
Yes.
Buttery, cheesy, sugar, all that. It don't even go together.
When I lift the spoon, I want to see the cheese.
All them things don't even go together. They don't even go in the same cabinet.
Listen, my stomach feel happy when I fun.
That's funny.
When I finish, my stomach feel happy.
I've never heard that combo before.
Never.
and I've seen quite a few varieties of grits, but you just broke the mold on that one.
He sure did.
Sure did.
Sister Cherise, favorite warm breakfast cereal?
Cream of wheat.
Sweet or salty?
Cream of wheat. All day cream of wheat.
And Sister Darlene, since you get the vote twice.
Okay, so my North would be oatmeal, and then the South would be cheese and grits.
Yeah.
All right, Team North. So we got
Farina too. I like Farina also.
Oh, love Farina.
What?
This sounded real Northish.
Farina?
I love Farina.
Did you drop your favorite warm cereal in the chat, Sister Coco G? You still get the vote.
Okay, baby. See you later.
Sister Coco G, your favorite warm cereal for Team North. And chat, you get to vote. You're going to get to vote. If you want to vote, the winner of the breakfast cereal challenge is Team North. You can vote 1. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab the favorite breakfast cereal of Team South. If you want to vote for Team South, drop a 2 in the chat. So starting with Team South, Brother Michael, favorite warm breakfast cereal?
oatmeal.
Oatmeal. Brother Walter.
Oatmeal with cinnamon.
Oh yeah, he turning up a little bit. He bougie.
Hey, you gotta just a little dab of cinnamon, mix it in there. Yeah.
Got to have the cinnamon.
Got to have it.
Got to have the cinnamon.
Brother Karras, warm cereal, breakfast.
Oatmeal with brown sugar and honey.
All right.
Now that's bougie. That's brown sugar and honey. Come on.
And honey.
Yeah, that's bougie.
Well, I'm sorry, Team South. Y'all went oatmeal. I like oatmeal now. Don't get it twisted. I like my oatmeal with butter, cinnamon, and nutmeg, and evaporated milk. My oatmeal goes down.
Oh, I take that back, Karis. Sister
And
Shar,
Sister
that's
Shaw, my
bougie.
wife gives you a thumbs up. She gives you a thumbs up on that
Yeah, now that's bougie.
Now that is bougie, Sister Shaw.
Yeah, I would have never thought about all that.
That's how you eat
Me either.
oatmeal. Your oatmeal got to be milky, buttery, and cinnamony. But my favorite breakfast cereal is grits. I like them buttery. I like them cheesy. I like them salty. Sugar don't go on grits.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
Thank
I,
you.
I, I like grits too, but I think oatmeal has always been my favorite back
yes,
when I
Yeah.
was yeah.
yes. So
I love them
I
southern
grew up
grits
with
and
grits and sugar, so nah,
yeah.
and butter
Yuck.
and a little bit of milk.
so
Mm-mm.
why does Brother Garth have jokes? Oatmeal de la creme. All right, family, it's your turn. Today was our first Friday Family Feud. We are going to be doing this more. This is about us bonding as a community. This is about us reaching out across the Atlantic into the continent. We're calling out if you are from the continent, on the continent, and you know that we are family. We're calling you in to join us for the Family Feud, where we're going to be having these very open and honest conversations that help us to heal and to recognize that we have more that unites us than divides us. So,
Exactly.
with that, I'm asking for the chat to vote 1 for Team North or 2 for Team South. And then we will go ahead and grab any final comments from the panel. So, let's see who we're going to start with. Auntie Darlene, any final comments?
Well, thank you, everyone. And I know I can't, y'all been dragging me. And I'm so glad that I got on because I'm trying to do something different in my old life, my old age. Um, and it was a pleasure being here, and I'm hoping that we can do it again.
Thank you so much. We love you and
We
appreciate
will. We can
for
do it again.
No,
yeah.
I was just
Don't
joking.
worry.
I didn't
Don't
mean.
worry about it. We got your number.
And family, we bully Sister Darlene.
Her and Coco G. Like, hey,
Oh,
Yeah, I think we all have that same story. I'm a background. I'm a big worker bee. I just want to just stay in the background and work. And um, I'm excited to do something different because if I don't try, I'll never know the end. So that's why
exactly.
I'm trying to step out a little bit more.
we celebrate you. You have demonstrated a lot of courage in many ways that people would not truly appreciate. And
Hmm.
we thank you so much for stepping out and looking forward to having you on. Auntie Darlene has a passion for food. So when we get a chance to talk about food and healing, we will be calling upon you, Auntie, and those in the chat who want to join that family feud to talk about healing and food. So thank you so much again for joining us. And
I want to thank the leadership team for all the encouragement and that you give out and support. So I don't think I could do it without you guys.
hallelujah.
Mhm.
Hallelujah. We just being our daddy kids. He said
That's
that
it.
people would know that we his kids by the way we love each other, right? So
That's
thank you,
That's
right.
right.
Sister Darlene. Sister Bonnie, Auntie Bonnie. Final comments?
Yes, ma'am, niece. Thank you for having me, even though I got called out. But thank you for having me. I enjoyed the conversation, and I'm seeing how our experiences really aren't that different, regardless to where we're from. We're all the same, and we've all experienced the same things, whether it was covert or overt. It was still the same, and
Yeah.
I appreciate your invitation, and you guys have a wonderful Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for bringing that insight. You know,
Right.
that was a wonderful understanding, Auntie Bonnie, overt versus covert. That was a great takeaway from today's conversation. And so we appreciate you coming on and taking on the challenge and look forward to bringing you into future Family Feud opportunities. Thank you so much. Be blessed.
You too.
Brother Eric.
Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, family. Now, this was awesome. I really enjoyed this. We definitely got to do this again. And I noticed the one common denominator was sabotage and trauma. So whether we was in the north or whether we was in the south, we was all getting the business from these Edomites and from these Gentiles. So it's good that we're able to, talk about it, and it helps us heal from all this trauma. The true healing ain't gonna come until we're away from these people, far, far away from them. But I enjoyed this. It was really fun, and I'm looking forward to doing it again.
Awesome.
Everybody have a great Shabbat.
Appreciate you.
Yes,
Shabbat Shalom, Eric.
Oh yeah, and big up to you guys. You guys are doing the awesome work. Is the Most High led, and thank you guys for answering the call.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for your contributions. We really, really cherish and appreciate your openness, and look forward to having you on another episode of the Friday Family Feud.
Thank you.
Let's see. This is the board, right? So
except for me.
Sharice. Okay. For some reason, you and Brother Mike did not have pictures on, so I had to read this.
I know. I'm looking at this. I see my picture on my phone, but I don't see it on the computer.
Okay.
So I was wondering the same thing. But anyway, I appreciate you guys letting me on. I enjoy sharing my stories. And like I said, I felt comfortable sharing with you guys because I normally don't share because my experience is so very different from everybody's. And I appreciate
all got
this.
Different stories.
Man, y'all got them fight stories. I don't have those stories.
But everybody's story may be different, but it is still some type of overt or covert racism or some type of trauma. Whether it may not be fighting not for everybody.
Tis true.
So, Sister Sharice, just to let you know, my mother was the one who was always fighting. And because she was ashamed of how much she fought, she taught me not to fight. She taught me to fight with my mind and not with my hands. So I have fight stories, either because my mother, she forbade me from fighting that way because of how she felt. She had to survive. She wanted me to do it differently. So I don't have those stories either. And we all have a mixed bag of experiences. So thank you for taking the challenge and stepping out, sharing with us, because we family, and
that's right.
We fight in different ways. When we're praying for our nation, we scrapping for each other.
Thank you.
It's not a physical fight, but we're still fighting. So fighting takes on different forms, and I appreciate you coming in and sharing and connecting with us like this.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys letting me up today. You all have a good Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom.
You as well. Shabbat Shalom.
All right. Y'all the daily troublemakers.
I am not a troublemaker.
Y'all, I appreciate working with y'all so much. It's very strange being on a Friday live stream and it's not Brother Karis collecting the final word. So I don't even I'm playing musical chairs right now. It's not cool. Why he in the background typing, by the way? I had to mute him because I'm hearing him clickety click. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be typing in the background.
I thought that was you.
No, it was Karis.
Getting that work done.
Wrap this on up because all y'all got sprayed with like 15 emails.
Well, that's great. We have look, we're on the cusp of awesomeness, family. If y'all will continue to pray into our, we are moving a mountain right now. Pray for our success. Pray for y'all's glory to be manifest through Q2UA. And all of our partnership endeavors, all of our strategic partners. because we got some really, really amazing momentum happening. And oh, look, this is matching the Friday pattern, Brother Karis.
Actually, it is. It really is. I had a conversation with our treasurer over at Region Six, and there's a lot of things going on that's working within the Quest to Unite Africa ecosphere, and um, let me tell you, even though things may feel slow, they're not slow. The meetings that we've had this week, it just confirmed that, man, the Most High is just moving things way so outside of our purview. It's not even funny. It's not. And when I say he throws people in the way, he literally throws people in the way. And it's like, oh, I didn't know this. Oh, I didn't know this. Oh, I didn't know this. So, yeah, that's why I'm there in the back kind of typing. This gives me an opportunity. I am a morning person. Most of my thoughts are in the morning. I get a good night's sleep, and then I'm able to just, pound out some emails and things of that nature. And that's what I usually do before I get on lives every day. So, so with this space, look, we have an awesome board at Quest Unite Africa. We have an awesome team. We have awesome leadership with all of our leaders, and we have awesome volunteers. And when we've said this, we've been preparing ourselves for really swimming, right? To jump into the swimming pool and start kicking. Look, the Most High doesn't just have us, jump into the pool, sink or swim. No, we go through lessons, right? We have to go through training. Some trainings, you feel like you're drowning and, you have to choke up some water. But you have to get right back into the swimming pool, because when he prepares to unleash everything, it really is, it's unleashing, that's when we're able to, keep everything together. So,
Well, thank you so much for joining and participating in the Family Friday Feud. And we hope that you're enjoying the reshifting of your workload, because it is quite a bit of responsibility. We do know and understand that, and appreciate you so much for your leadership and for bringing this community together to work together for a cause that's so much bigger than each and every one of us as an individual part. So thank you so much, Brother Karis, for those announcements. And I see that you're trying to have us working on Friday. So we're definitely going to look forward to wrapping up to get through these emails. Brother Michael, any final takeaways?
Stay alert, stay diligent. I mean, you keep on the watch. That's it. You know what's going on.
That reminds us, please join Brother Michael at 12 p.m. Eastern Time for Africa Logistical Agency. Brother Michael is doing an excellent job showing up and talking about the different connecting. He's the connective tissue between the diaspora and the continent, boots on the ground, and putting down roots there so that we can have representation and opportunities and seize opportunities without being in the dark or being taken advantage of. So please join Brother Michael at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We also have Exploring the Motherland with Garth at 10 o'clock Eastern, and that's going to be just in a few minutes, where he talks on this week's news and why it is so important and connected and related to the work of Q2UA. Thank you, Brother Michael, for all that you do. We appreciate you so much, and for your leadership and your courage in going over as a Caleb, right, among us, on behalf of the mission for our people.
Oh, you're welcome.
Brother Walter, what's the good word?
Man, I can call it today. I'm really happy with the with how the show went today. I was a little nervous, because I kind of sit in the background and say what I say. But it went really good, and we appreciate everybody who was in the chat and that joined the panel. I says, and we would like more people to participate. As we have these shows every Friday. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you so much for jumping out the co-host. I know you didn't want to. Again, I appreciate it. I don't even know how I became the default host today, so we're just going to have a team meeting about that as well. We
Hey,
are
real quick, Sister Shar. Make sure, please like, share, and subscribe.
Yes. The
Okay.
YouTube.
Oh yeah.
And for those that are listening later to this broadcast, please leave your comments in the comment sections. We always love to read and respond and continue this conversation within the comment section of this video. Thank you.
Yes, and make sure you vote for Team North or Team South. So I don't know how accurate this is, but Auntie Bonnie said that based on her count, it looks like Team North won. Now,
I think some people in the North voted twice.
Well, look, and look, Auntie Darlene made sure she was on the winning team either way. So
I'm sure I win.
Those of you joining the replay, make sure you vote, cast your vote. Every little bit helps. Hey, you might not think this matters. Joining us on Friday, sharing your experiences, engaging with the content, sharing the channel. This means so much for the mission. It is not a small thing. Thank you for joining. Thank you for participating. Thank you for sharing with us. We're going to figure out exactly which Family Feud, what Family Feud you think y'all want to have next Friday.
Just who, me?
What topic for the Family Feud next Friday?
I don't know what. Let people put it in the comments, and we'll look over the comments this week, and we'll surprise everybody.
That's a great idea. Hey, please drop your suggestions for a Family Feud so that we can have these discussions. Right now, it's diaspora versus diaspora, but we are inviting all of our African brothers and sisters to join this conversation, join the Family Feud, and let's talk about some stuff. And so with that, thank you again for supporting Question Night Africa. If you'd like to become a volunteer and help with putting your hands to the work of the mission of critical infrastructure and economic development for the benefit of Africa and its people, please sign up to become a volunteer at questionnighafrica.org. If you would like to make a financial gift and contribution to help us continue the operational cost and expense of the work that we're doing, please visit questionnighafrica.org and make your cash gift online. We value and appreciate you and shout you out if you are already a sustaining giver where you have already signed up for a monthly gift, a recurring gift. Those are absolutely invaluable. We can't thank you enough for your love and your support with your gifts. And with that, Shabbat Shalom, family, and we'll see you next time.